What's up, Justin?
Oh, how's it going?
Hi. Good, good. We've taken a couple weeks off, a little hard time getting together, busy couple weeks, and it's just going to get busier as the holiday season gets here. Rolling into November. We left the lab off challenging ourselves a little bit, talking about the lab. And this is kind of what it is like doing experiments on yourselves and getting yourself out of your comfort zone, I guess, and having some thoughts about past things that we've done and some reflection and where is it going to lead us. And like we keep saying, we're not doing this for everybody in the world and get popular and have a huge podcast or anything like that. If we reach a few people, sure, but mainly we did this because we have similar personalities, but and I think we challenge each other, and we've always been easy to talk to each other and trying to figure life out at a next stage, and we all reach certain moments and certain times. So well, let's get into it here. So any risk you took over the past couple weeks?
Yeah, I think this is probably not what you're gonna expect me to say, but my risk, I think for me was almost an anti-risk, which was um, not feeling the need to have um, a new end thing. So a lot of things, and let me explain that a little bit. And so a lot of things changing at work. Got a new job in the last 4 or 5 months, um, and the natural move for me is to find a path to be the CEO. you know,
Yeah, right.
I talked about that in the past, but it's like my normal reaction is to go all the way in and not and forget about fitness, forget about relationships, forget about anything else. It's just this is the new goal,
Mm.
and I'm gonna drown myself in it.
I
When
think
I
that's I think that's awesome for you. Just and just be in the moment and be the best that you can be in that moment. And then whatever happens is supposed to happen to you.
Yeah. So
Not like I'm going to take over this company.
yeah, risk for me was to dial that back,
Yeah.
right? Risk is to say you're enough right now. Um, you need to be the best um, day 91 employee. You need to also understand that you've got other responsibilities. And to me, that's a big leap. I don't know that it's a risk necessarily, but there's risk insofar as it's not my quote unquote normal path. And so
Yeah.
I felt really good about backing it up and saying, I'm gonna be content. I'm gonna do the things that I've talked about. Um, and I'm going to be really good at this little thing, but so I tried to think about all the things that we've talked about, which is why this is so good. Am I really living all those things? Am I doing am I continuing relationships with the boys? Am I continuing relationships with people that I care about? Am I thinking about the holidays in a fun and enjoyable way, and not only focusing on this new thing? And so that balance is risk for me.
Yeah.
I
Well,
know.
so there was things that got listened to that I love the way he put it. Uh, the resistance that you have, and your resistance is kind of to be in the moment.
Yeah,
Like your body wants to not be in the moment, and to fight that is a good thing,
yeah,
because that's not your personality. Your personality is like, how do I move forward? How do I how do I make get better at this, and how am I better than everybody else here? How do I make myself stand out? And that is risky for you because you're putting yourself into a different light
Yeah.
of be in the moment, be the best that I can be right now. And instead of you being just you and thinking about how do I do things, you're thinking about how making my life better as well as everybody else's.
Yeah. Yeah.
And,
So,
and that's a different place for you.
yeah, I appreciate it. So tell me about yours.
Uh, I mean, and it wasn't very big. I've got a lot more risk that I'm going to take. I think when I step out of my box, I tend to try to rely on others to filter the situation and to uh, guide or handhold me into a situation. And I had talked to the guy before, a long time ago, probably 6, 8 months ago, just as an introduction. The guy that opened up the place in Oak Ridge, kind of the little wellness place, the thermodynamic health. And they were supposed to have a grand opening. I was going to set up a booth. I was a little nervous about that and all that stuff. Kind of that fell through. Their grand opening fell through at the time. And I was like, man, I want to go something. First of all, I want to try some of their stuff out, but also just want to shoot some videos, see if I can help them promote them, whatever. And plus, it's good for me. And those things are fun to do. I have some knowledge about the things that they have, and so I
This is
contacted him.
the cold
He,
plunge and the
yeah,
all.
yeah.
Okay, yeah, cool.
So I called him or text him. He put me in contact with the dude that was working that day, Evan, and he was great. Like he was very knowledgeable and everything. He'd never met me. I never met him. Went on a run that morning, met up with him, and we shot some videos, did some stuff, and and you know it's pretty raw. I mean, and you're put in a pretty vulnerable position in some things, and you're just making stuff up on the fly kind of, and that's difficult to do, but like we've talked about on here, the first time you ever done a podcast, it's not the best one you've ever done in the world. So kind of putting yourself out there, taking a risk, seeing what happens, and trying not to worry about what everybody thinks. Doing things because you think it's good to do. It's fun, and you never know who you may help or who may end up hearing about something. They try this out and it really kind of helps them from a health standpoint or from an anxiety standpoint or any of those things. So that was baby step risks. Sorry, nothing huge. I've got some bigger things I think on the horizon that um got to work out that I'm going to take some risks, and we're going to talk about that a little bit I think today. So that was mine. Nothing huge,
No,
but
listening.
kind of the same thing. And I've put out some videos and stuff like that before, and I actually tried to say one the other day, and I kept thinking to myself, "This sounds stupid," and I'm like, I shouldn't just done it. Um, there's
Yeah, it's
sometimes let's do that. It was about being confident in what you talk about, and this guy was saying he would make students point at things and tell them what it isn't, like making up what it is. And sometimes people can't say that because they don't their mind is being judgmental upon themselves.
so let me
It's
ask you
wild.
when you, which is crazy, and I think I have part of this is experience. Part of this is probably who I just am in general. Um, there's about three, I don't know, let's call it seven people that I care about what they think. And I care about it on the back end even. Right? And
Yeah.
so I rarely, and this is not a good trait necessarily. So this is not condemning you or propping me up in any possible way. But who do you think about or what comes to mind? Is it you? Is it a specific entity or person or time in your life when you were just talking about that and you say, "Hey, that sounds stupid." Who who or what group of people do you think about is going to hear that in a way in which is different than you want to hear it? And or a better way of saying that is, are you not, is it not genuine enough? Is it a genuine message and you're afraid that people are going to hear it different from who you are? Like this right here unpacks a lot of stuff. But the base
Mhm.
is when you have that, because everybody does this. I'm not going to delete. You know how many millions of people start to do podcasts or start to take a photo? You know how many people delete photos before they
Oh, wow. Yeah, don't d
it,
yeah. A
it,
million.
let me smile a little bit different. Oh, but the corner of my mouth didn't look weird. I mean, everybody knows this. Most people's like spouses do this, and it's like, take another one, do it from a different angle. And it's like, who are you worried about? And who do you think is looking at the left corner of your right eye? So,
Eh
but it's a genuine question, which is, do you have a particular thing that you think about there where you say that sounds stupid? To whom? To whom?
I think it's mainly me,
Yeah.
I'm not getting the words out that I feel like need to cut that's in my head. I'm not putting them on the video for how I think it should be.
Live, live
But
fixes that.
it really doesn't matter.
Live fixes that because you can't
Yeah.
go back and erase it. You can, but you got to erase it.
Mhm.
I'm not letting you do that. But
Yeah.
uh, that's the nature of doing some of that stuff. Is its imperfection is who you are, and I think there's so
Yeah.
much beauty in, if you're genuine, if you believe in the basis of what you're talking about, there is no wrong. And I think the faster you get to that kind of feeling, which is it doesn't matter because right, wrong, or indifferent, I don't think you could post almost anything. I mean, we could go into crazy territory here, but
Yeah.
anything you talk about when you're talking about health or fitness or awareness of, that nobody's going to say that was the dumbest thing I've ever heard. Anything,
Well, I also think sometimes is I don't wanna say things that offend people. Um, because I'm never trying to offend anybody. I think, biggest thing I wanna do is when I'm doing things like that is get out information. Not and I'm not in a bragging sense of anything that I do either. And I'm like, just more of a, these things can work, these things can help, and what can I do to motivate you to get you there?
sure, but the same sentence is going to um, offend and motivate different sets of people. The same
Oh,
sentence.
yeah.
And
Especially in
so
today's world.
today's world, you're going to offend someone. You don't care if you say pass the ketchup. And so
Mhm.
get through that piece and know that you're, again, what I always lean on is my message genuine? Do I believe it? And am I doing the best? Like, do I combine those things to be doing my best? Am I putting the best version of myself out in a way, in the talents that I have? And so if I start talking
And
about nurse practitioner stuff, I might piss somebody off because a nurse practitioner is going to go, "You
yeah.
don't have
Yeah.
to do what I'm talking about, right?" But I know
Yeah.
what you know what you know. I know I'm passionate about it. I know I care about it. I know that I want to get it out to, I don't care if it's one or 50 people. And if I offend one or 50 people along the way, I, I just don't have that. I don't have the yield in that. I have a yield in a lot of things, but that piece, because I know that I've offended so many people. I also know that I've motivated a lot of people. And so,
Mhm.
you are one of the most genuine people that I know. That's why we get along. You're incredibly passionate about things.
To a fault sometimes.
Oh, but being afraid of who you are is gonna keep it's an automatic yield. It's an automatic like
Yeah.
your go-kart, right? I mean your go-kart
Well,
can only go 20 miles an hour right now because you won't let it.
yeah. And talking about fear and all that kind of stuff we talked about before, and we talked about fears a couple episodes ago about what am I afraid of, right? And I kind of text you about this stuff a little bit, kind of this self-reflection that I have done over the past several weeks about this concept. And things keep hitting me at work, at church, in public. People come up to me and things are kind of hitting me in the face all the time. And sometimes I don't know how to respond. And I'm getting to points too now where nothing's a coincidence. These things are happening to me for a reason. And I said I had a fear of people not liking me, right? And I don't think that's true. I have more of a fear of letting people down.
Different.
And that's where the big part comes into play, because it's even more than that. Like I said, lots of self-reflection, and that's part of what this process is, right? And it's kind of I've I've always been letting myself down. Self-doubt, that's too hard. I can't do that because fill in the blank. I don't want to go down that pathway because I don't think I'm going to work hard enough to present myself that way. Or I'm not going to study enough to pass those tests. I don't want to work as hard as that. Even when we talked about military things, choosing what pathway, the safe thing to do. And it goes on and on. And what I've done over what now 8, 9 months is I've realized I can do these things. And you can put yourself in a situation to where you present that and you can present what you have been talking about for a long time. And, I I've even thought about all these things and fears of why people don't do this, where you don't want to even talk about you starting some kind of health journey or anything like that because you see somebody a year later and they're like, well, and nothing's changed because you failed. And you don't even want to tell people that, right? And I just started doing stuff. And things are getting better, and I'm becoming more and more passionate about it. And now I'm to the point to where I'm I'm not gonna stop, and I want to keep striving forward. And I'm nothing special. I'm just doing the things that needed to be done for a long time.
You there? I'll
That's all right. We're good. So, I mean, I don't know where did it cut off?
I can't ever really tell. Um,
Uh, we'll just kind of back up here and talk about we don't know what got cut off, but we're kind of where people got fears of letting people down, but or fear of people not liking me, really leading into fear of I don't want to let people down, and really I've been letting myself down for a long time about just not pursuing things because I didn't feel as if I was good enough, basically. I'm not good enough to do that, or I can't present that in a way where people are gonna be affected by me telling them that.
So you still
And,
have a concept. What's interesting to me about all that, Bo, is that you still have the same. Uh, I don't even know. Percentage chance to fail.
yeah.
like,
Yeah, but now, and
but
now I've
you're not
gone down.
afraid of that. You're not.
I'm
You're not worried about what the failure looks like, because the failure is not a failure anymore. It's
No.
the perception change on what quote unquote failure looks like to you, which has changed your whole mentality on whether you want to start or continue. Because
Yeah.
a lot of people start, a lot of people work through it, a lot of people continue, even in weight loss. So your example earlier, which is, you see somebody 3 months later and they're like, "Oh, I'm going on a diet and I'm gonna work out and blah, blah, blah," and then you see them and they may say some version of that, and somebody may think in their mind nothing's different, and everything's different.
Mm,
Their body, and their clothes may not be different, but everything else is different, and that's the momentum piece that people don't you can't see. You
mhm.
can't see the kinda change you're talking about. Now you can see it in you because you're stronger and you're like,
Yeah, but
the
those things didn't just though none of this stuff just happens. It's just like I've never I don't think I've ever been all in.
that's huge.
And now I'm all in. I'm in a place
What a
that
beautiful thing.
that has kind of let me be me and learn and I've never been in a job. Everybody's got a job, right? Everybody goes to work. But I've done some pretty cool things
Yeah,
and learned lots of stuff and liked my jobs before. But I've never been in a place where I constantly want to learn more. And I'm striving to learn more and with health, wellness, all that, but also dealing with this up here and how do I make that better? How do I make you better? How can I get other people to focus on these things? So well, I told you to listen to that little podcast I heard the other day, and I was like, this is it. Like again, all these little things are adding up. It's like bam, hitting me in the face, bam, hit me in the face, all in. Is like, like I said, a lot of us go to work every day, but not a lot of us are professionals. And like, well, I'm going pro. That's what we're doing.
yeah,
We're
yeah,
going pro.
yeah.
And, it's interesting, when you try to start to have that mindset of then do you care about the noise?
Nothing.
No, because, um, any noise you have, the bigger the noise is, the harder you better pursue it and go and go and go. And you have are kind of not pulling back, but reevaluating where your resistance is and where you want to be extraordinary. Um, and the guys were talking about like Kobe Bryant. How was he able to still kind of have his family life and him being able to do that? Very few can, because basically these guys that are elite people, they can't serve two masters and they have to go all in. So, and that's kind of where I'm getting to. And it's kind of like all these things keep hitting me. And I'm like, you know what? I don't care.
Good.
Like, and if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. Great. I'll learn. Teach me. Let me be wrong because then I'll learn. And like, so it's just how it's the light of how you see. When I say other things like being professional about it. It's about every kind of aspect of whatever you're driving towards. I don't feel good. Who gives a crap? Do it anyway. Like, I'm tired. Okay. Like, I don't want to go to work today because we hear these things nowadays. I always tell people it's like, working in the hospital a long time ago. Now people probably really frown about this, but you know how many times I went and worked at the hospital at night when I probably had the flu? Like, oh, whatever. Go do work. This is what you do. Like, you may not feel great 100%, but you're good enough
Yeah,
to go finish that job. Now the job is different, and the job is to feel better each and every day and strive for that. You won't ever get there, but you can strive for it. Another little thing that hit me, and I never do this. I actually did a podcast with Ben just the other day, and I said something about this too, because it was like, wow, what is happening here? Went to church, and they go over a few little Bible verses, right? And I never do that. Like, I just started taking my Bible to church with me, and I have never wrote a note in my Bible ever. And they're doing Philippians chapter 3, and they're talking about kind of like whatever you've done in your past. And there was two times during this little verse during this chapter that it says these two words, and press on. No matter what you've done in the past, press on. And I underlined it, and I wrote something else next to it. And after that was over, he started talking about that. It's like, this speaks to the athletic person in me. Like, it doesn't, like, press on. Like, you have an ache or a pain, you press on. You fight through these things. No matter what you've done before or what people thought of you before, go for what you're going towards.
sure.
Just press. I was like, holy crap, what is happening? It's like just these little moments of things. And even I went to on Veterans Day, they do a little thing at the elementary school, right? And went down. Harley wanted me to go, so I went to set through the presentation. This was what I was going to do that reel about the other day, and I could never get like words out well. I didn't think. And this guy, I think he's a retired. He was either a light colonel or colonel at the Air National Guard. He was a father of one of the teachers there. Gave a little talk, and it was good. It was good. It probably was over like people like Harley's head at first grade. Like, well, who's this guy? I don't know, but it was good. Like, for probably some fifth graders and stuff like that to hear. And he was like, "Be the best you can be every day." And I was like, "That's very different for a lot of people." And to me, with my mindset, I was like, how can you be the best you can be every day if you're not striving for better health, better wellness, better strength? Because how can you be the best of anything if you're not training your mind and your body? That's just where my brain goes.
Sure.
And I'm like, anybody, I don't care who you are, if you want to be the best you can be, it's got to start somewhere. So, I mean, and like, we've talked about getting up, getting your exercise in and things like that. That's just what I do. I know a lot of people aren't like that, but I was like, how can you be the best you can be every day if you haven't started your day off with something hard? Because if you do that, then the rest of your day is easy.
Yeah, I don't think there's any question. I think what's interesting is,
Sorry, I just kind of went off there for a little
yeah,
bit.
right. The passion about this, that energy is why in my opinion, it's why you see it everywhere. Because that kind of energy attracts that.
And to be honest, I don't know how to react to it a lot of
I
times,
don't
and I
think
don't know if
I
I'm reacting appropriately or not.
have to
Eh, it's like, are they asking to kinda, like, get
try.
into it, or
So try this. And so I've been in that position before, certainly, and I like that scenario, being passionate about things, being where you are. I don't, I learned, and I don't remember who I heard it from or where I heard it, but they said, just say thank you,
Yeah.
because but specifically, thank you for saying that. Thank you for acknowledging that. Thank you for showing up for yourself. Whatever it is, like whatever they came to you with, you don't have to expound on it. You don't have to feel the need to solve all their problems right that minute. You don't have to feel the need to take any more than you have already. All you have to do, and which is actually what they're asking for, is acknowledge their courage to say to you, I see you. And so the human response is to say, thank you for that. That's it. And then and
Well,
then and then it allows it to sort of permeate in all the right directions, right? And so I don't that's such a beautiful place to be. It's so different than where I was for most of my life, because I don't but I say that a lot. Thank you. Just but it's also allows me to get off the hook is not the right way of saying it, but also it just allows me to receive that and not be thinking, right? So a lot of times you just think, like, I can't remember anybody's name because I'm thinking about the next thing I want to say. Well, I'm a lot better now than I used to be because I hear it first. And that's the same
mhm,
thing. Someone comes up to you in anything, for anything. If you can hear it, then all you have to say is thank you. I
yeah.
appreciate that. Um, that allows you to again, Bo, like you got to take a little time in all this to receive the all the blessings that you're getting right now without.
Well, it's this is probably my kind of mentality to be like, yeah, thank you, or whatever the comment may be. But my immediate go to is like, and I don't say this, but in my mind, how can I help you?
Yeah. Also, what are you doing about it? That
Yeah.
was all my thing, which is like, man, I'm so thankful that you said this, and gosh, I wish that I. And my first reaction was stop wishing. So my first is like, takes like my first reaction was always take these little things out of your ver-
Mhm,
out of that's what's going to help you. Man, I wish I was. Well, stop wishing. Have a great day. Right? I don't say that, but those are the things that I had to back all the way up and say, I don't that's not for me to decide. They'll continue to hear the message how they hear it. They'll continue to work on themselves how they hear it, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But yes, you're always going to think, and there's probably nothing wrong if that's really who you are, to say that, which is okay, great. What actually specifically about, but you got to really commit. So if you start
mhm.
that, you got to say, hey, what specifically about that? Because it's like people say, how's your day going? They don't want you to tell them.
No, they just wanna say, "Fine."
You just want to say fine. But if someone comes up to you with something specific and you respond with something specific, now you're in a committed relationship with the lady at Weigel's.
Yeah, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But also you have to if you're into it, that's sort of the next level, which is
Mhm,
interesting. What part of that how did you hear that? Or how do you think that's helped you? And it really, for you and for me, it was always, how can I say that in a way in which somebody else will hear it the same way, or some with something different? And people will tell you a lot more than you want to hear. So you got to have a minute. Don't be doing it
mhm.
on a quick way to work. But that's sort of
Well,
the
and I think that's the hard part because it's always like, brief little,
everybody wants
it's
surface.
this, and it's like, I'm like, well, if you really wanna talk about this stuff, with this passing by ain't gonna cut it. We got to get into it.
Yeah, I le le less of them, so less to me now in the place that I am, I want less interactions, but deeper, right? And so if
Hmm.
I want to commit to this conversation, I'm all about it, but I'm not going to go surface level because I just don't have it. I don't
Yeah,
have. I
and
don't have.
it's so hard. I've talked about it a bunch of times about with Constance and stuff like that. People, but family members, whatever. Hey, I've got like this, or I got like this, and I'm like, I know you too well. I'm not going to get into it because, like you said, you ain't done nothing about nothing.
Yeah.
But I
So
mean,
start with talking to the mailbox, and so I always, I used to say with people overweight that I knew intimately, like, "Yeah, man, I sure wish could run a marathon." You need to watch the mailbox. Have a great. So
you gotta
sometimes,
st you gotta
sometimes
start somewhere, and that's the biggest thing too, is, like, we talk about it, it's like it's just like you were saying, it's like, it doesn't matter as long as you're making progress,
do you
'cause
think
the little
people
bits of progress will show up over time.
do you think offending people, quote unquote, offending people is a way to get to them? Because I think some people aren't going to hear it. Um,
No, I think it depends on the person. It depends on your relationship with that
I don't
person.
think you're ever trying to, but if you
Mm-mm.
genuine and you happen to offend someone because they say, "I can't believe you just said that I shouldn't be um 75% body fat." That's really offensive, Bo. How, like, is there some times in which by the nature of your message, you're going to offend someone?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, the answer is
Oh,
yes.
yeah.
I'll let you answer that.
But and, you could probably follow that up with, "I'm sorry I'm offending you by saying this, but I'm just putting into the light what is true, and you don't wanna be there,
Yeah.
and
So
that's why you're talking to me."
what do you want? And so we've
Yeah.
talked a lot about this together, which is sometimes you get frustrated or you get in a spot in which you've yielded yourself so hard or circumstances or life has happened to you so much and you're like, I can't believe so and so is happening. But the question that you and I have asked of each other a lot is, what do you want? I ask
Mhm.
this a lot. What do you actually want? What does it look like? Because you can say all day, I want to be fit or I want to be successful or I want more. Okay. What does that actually look like? And it feels like what that looks like f- uh, finally to some
N
degree.
it
And that
Well, it's like it's one of those things that's like,
you're not there. You
never thought I could be in this place that I am now,
okay, good.
and it proves to me that it's not me. It can be anybody. It can be anybody.
Yeah.
And like we've talked about working out and stuff like that before, and I've always been, strength came easy, but fitness didn't.
Okay. Yeah, that's
It's there's two different levels to that. Um like going in there and throwing some weights around or whatever, just it well, I say it came easy. I did grow up doing push-ups and sit-ups from freaking elementary school.
yeah,
So
you
there was
bench
a background to that too.
yeah, you bench press as a baby. I mean, I
Yeah,
also yeah.
but like being moving weight around, but being fit and healthy, two different things. You can go to any gym around Knoxville and you can see it. You can see whoever putting 3 or 4 plates on the bench press and throwing them up, but are they healthy? I
Yeah.
I don't know. Depends on who it is.
Let me get back to this real quick because I don't want you to stray
Yeah.
off. Um,
Sorry.
not being afraid. Um, it's such a it's such an empowering place to be. And so, but you didn't do that overnight. I mean,
Mm,
it is such a maturation process of a little bit at a time and a little bit at a time. And but what I'm hearing from you is the equation is you had to do something plus a result equals belief in you can do anything, right?
yeah.
But you can't do those in reverse order. You can't, and you can't get to a result without you being involved, and you have to be involved in order to get any result. But a result, this is not your end result, right? So you're not saying at any point of this podcast or any podcast, I am where I expect to be. I'm finally there. I'm at the mountaintop. I'm all the way there. But the power around saying I am on my way is palpable. You can
Oh,
feel the difference on the screen from 3 months ago to the like I'm on the train, right? The train, I knew what the train looked like. I knew where it was going. I couldn't get it to stop. I didn't know how to stop it. I didn't know how to get on. I didn't know how to power the thing. But like finally I'm on it and I just got to shovel coal now, right? As using all those analogies which I love to use. But you just like feel it and it empowers me, and we're in different places. And it's still um, makes me excited about being around people who not only know that this is some version of their who they are. So I just say it all the time. Who
yeah.
freaking are you? And I don't care if you're a 400-pound man. Be the best 400-pound man you've ever been, and be consistent with it, and love it with all your soul. And you seem to love this version of you. And that's
Well, and it's one of those things like you said it, um, that, even when I started with performance medicine, the kind of stuff we were doing, you said, "I think this is all we're supposed to be doing." Even that, it was like, "Yeah, I think so too," but it has even that has flipped to where I'm like, "Let's go.
yeah.
Let's go." I I don't claim to be the smartest person we've got at performance medicine, but I'm pretty passionate about what we do. And I'm pretty passionate about what I'm doing with people. And when I see changes and and there is some keys that you can crank on and it'll work. And you have to trust the process. But you hear that all the time in sports. Trust the process, trust this process. And you do. You have to trust it. It ain't gonna happen overnight. Ain't gonna happen in one season. And I keep telling people, it's like, don't wait for the new year. We can start early. And,
New Year,
it's
the New Year's right now. And I don't, this is the time I think I saw one of your posts the other day that a lot of people gear down even more than they geared down before, which is terrifying.
yeah, yeah.
But they say, and I think it's funny when people are like, "Oh, I don't really want to start. I'm going to start right now. I've got this." I'm like, you didn't start before. You didn't start in July. What you mean start? So I think there's a ton of excuses. And to your point earlier, it might be the best time to do it because it forces your hand. It also forces real, like some moments of hard discussion
Hmm.
of um and really committing. To me, this is the most beautiful time of any time is great, but this time is also really good because it forces you into family. It forces you into party. It forces you into big meals. It forces you into cold weather. It forces you into bundling up. It forces you into all the excuses that you can come up with are packed into the next 3 months. Every excuse any human has will be forced upon you in the next 3 months. Family,
Absolutely.
work, because it gets busy at the end of the year, parties, food, cold weather, whatever it is, it will all be forced upon you right now. And if you can even get a tiny bit of momentum in that, to me, that shows you, man, I can do it in the hardest time of year. I can definitely do it in February. I can definitely do it in
Yeah,
March. Definitely do it
and
in July.
it gives you some grace too. It's where if you've already started down that journey, go ahead, do whatever on the to-do days and just get back on the horse.
So I don't.
Like,
This is the thing that always bothered me. In reverse, which is, everybody that goes to the gym gets all irritated because people show up at the gym, right? The gym is
yeah.
crazy crowded from January 2nd to March 1st. And what I
Mhm.
thought was, if you all are really committed to fitness, if you're really committed to health, if you're really committed to emotional health, you would, every person you saw in there who was new or was uncomfortable, who was uncertain, you would say, bro, awesome. How can I help you? Hey, let me help you with that machine. Hey, you're not supposed to be, doing butterflies on the leg curl. You know what I'm saying? But like
For sure.
I always loved seeing a million people there because I thought, man, if a tenth of these people could get excited about this, and what you saw was people just excited about, and they're in their new gear, man. You got people in there like, I just got this brand new gear. I got my brand new Nikes on that hadn't seen the dirt in a second. Like I always thought, I hope you're here in 2 months. And so that kind of stuff, which what you do every day, I hope people do all the time, which is, I hope you'll continue this. And that's the thing that I feel like you just have to say to people. You don't have to fix them. You don't have to tell them how to. All you have to do, it's like at church, right? I don't need to save you this Sunday. I just say, I hope I see you next week.
Yeah.
Thanks for being here. Like that's the kind of energy that I feel like I'm in now, which is just, hey, thanks for showing up today. And that's this whole, how can you be the best? Like what hit me earlier is, be the best you can every day. Time out, time out. I have got to focus on, and what most people have to focus on, how can I be the best I can today?
Mhm. Don't worry
How
about
can
yesterday. Don't worry about tomorrow.
today. And some people can't even focus on that. How can I be the best version of myself this morning?
Yeah.
'Cause
Choose to choose to be happy.
I gotta get to lunch happy. I gotta
Yeah.
get out of bed happy. I gotta get to the
All
gym.
of That's what a lot of things people don't realize too. All of this is a choice. You're either choosing to do, even the people that know that what they need to do, you're choosing not to do it when
Yeah.
you know what needs to be done. And I guess that's kind of where I've done is I've always kind of known what needs to be done. It's just now I'm just choosing to do it. I'm not waiting till New Year's. I'm
Yeah.
not gonna wait. Oh, we're Florida games this weekend. I will probably let it all hang out. I might eat whatever this week and do all the, it's just an excuse to not do what needs to be done. I sent you a text and I pushed it out there, and it was one of those things that just came to my head and hit me was unyield yourself and just go. And this is when I was thinking about all these processes and always putting a caution sign up and saying, I don't know. I better not take that road down there because, what if I fail and I don't know what lies with that failure? So I'll just keep going this way, even though I'm not the best version of myself this way, but I'm a version a lot of people like.
Yeah,
But that unyielding term flies with everything. It's like let go and go let it go and go forward. Move forward to whatever that goal is, and or whatever's holding you back. Stop it. Like stop. Like tell whatever that resistance is to go forward. Push through it. If that caution light is blinking at your face, don't do it. Don't do it. That means do it.
yeah.
Go
People
forward. Push through. Unless it's
are,
like going to jail or something like that. Yeah, don't do
yeah.
that.
There's certain things, but I like reasonable people understand what we're saying. I think what you say, what's interesting is that the more, even if you care about what other people think outside of your sphere, right? Your tiny sphere that you create. Even if you continue to care about that, and there's just some people who just do, and I appreciate that. I don't, but I respect those who do because I think there's some nature there, there's some nurture there, there's some experience there that
hmm
has to be has to be respected. I get that. But what you have to really understand is the more you like yourself, by default, the larger percentage of those people who will like you. It's uncanny.
Well, that
And
was kind of going back to when I was saying I was like I'm failing myself by not um doing these things before. And when you think about it, it's like, well, if I was failing all the time myself by not pursuing what I needed to do, how was that really affecting everybody around me? And how much better could I have been and affected them better? I mean, you can't worry about that stuff now. Push, press on, right? You just gotta move forward. But like when I was going through this process of thinking about all these things, and sometimes when you make this jump, right? And I say these things to you, there could still be resistance from close friends, family, because it's like, well, that's weird, right? That's different. That's that's not what he used to do. Um, that's not how he used to talk. That's that's not the normal thing that he does, right? That's all resistance coming at you from close people. But then again, if that matters, they don't need to be that close anyway.
yeah, I know.
And I don't think me or you have a lot of that really. I think it could be kind of odd when we do if we change some things to people, but it's not like they're not going to not like us.
It's also really okay to say to people, I understand that this is different. I understand this is not the Justin that you're used to. And I understand that this is not, um, and that's okay. I know, I understand that that is totally different from me. And that's the space that I'm in, which is like, I understand that this may not be comfortable for you. And I want you to have all the space you need to figure that out for you. But it's not work, right? And so I don't need your confirmation. I don't need you to understand it. I want you to help and be on board and get on with it, but I don't need you to. And that's a huge difference. So you can still respect you can still respect and understand that people don't get it, and you don't need them to buy in. That's the biggest
I
thing
think
when you have autonomy.
that's 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 going to be my difficult space
Yeah.
I think.
Yes.
Especially when you're talking about especially when you talk about people that you, like, care
Respect
about
and care about
and
and love.
know, and it's like, you just wanna say, "Look, I can help you.
Yeah.
I can help you."
You can't. Yeah. Yeah. No. Yeah. And you can when they're ready to get past the
Yeah,
thing.
and
And you.
that's hard. It's real hard for me, and I've that's the one of the bigger areas that I've gotta put it on the bookshelf and just say, "They'll come when they're ready. They'll come when they're ready, and I'm ready whenever they are."
Yeah. I mean, talk about a message from church, and I'm not a I'm certainly not going to talk biblically often, but that's the message I always heard uh, in that environment was I don't, God is not going to force himself on you. He's there when you're ready.
Mm-mm.
Not saying that any of this is like that, but human beings have free will. It's how we were created. And so if you don't respect that in any form, I don't care if it's church or fitness or work, if you don't respect that process, you are going against the very nature of who we are built to be.
Yeah,
The
and it's
end.
hard when you have control issues.
Now, it's hard when you have the answers, right? It's hard when you have a way that you can help people. It's hard when you have a way when you know you can make their situation better. When you know that you can create financial where you can relieve some financial stress, or where you can help them lose 10 pounds, or you can relieve some emotional stress. When you know you have the answer, the quote unquote the answer, but it's not the way it works.
I mean, and we don't have all the answers, but, and I say this a lot on some of the other little podcasts and stuff I do is like, it's not all cookie cutter, but it's a place to start. And, especially when you're, again, trying to be the best you can be every day, you gotta figure out what does that mean for you, and are you achieving that, and how are you achieving that? Um, and I think that's where we're both pretty passionate about is like, getting better. And that's one of the reasons I think that's the main reason we started doing this is really how do we make ourselves better?
Yeah.
Learning from each other and helping people along the way, maybe, but that wasn't our goal because I tell you, like going through this and looking at this stuff and thinking about our past episodes and just things that we've talked about, things that we've challenged ourselves with. I mean, obviously has affected me. Obviously, I mean, I don't I don't think about stuff like this. I haven't. The other thing I haven't done, what I was gonna do is challenging myself. Is we talked about journaling a little bit, so I did it maybe a couple days. So I really gotta get to that because I think it does help because that's what started this,
I know.
writing stuff down,
I
and
know.
then it's like makes you think. And even what I was writing down had nothing to do with this.
I know.
So kudos to you,
Yeah, man.
uh,
It's
changing people for the better.
yeah, kudos to somebody else way down the line. And that's the biggest thing. Well, we did exactly the opposite of what we were going to do, which is let's make it the longest episode ever. Let's just be a Joe Rogan and do a 5-hour podcast. Listen, dude,
I'm not that interesting.
I, I appreciate you.
I think we got more to come with this, and we're gonna think about this stuff and
I
move
really
forward
I,
and
here's what else.
come. We'll get some more out soon.
Yeah, and we'll really. So I'm going to say
Do
this,
what?
and I would usually say it when we offline, when I hit, hey, have a great week. But I'm gonna say it on here. We got to get some people on here, right? And we got to get we might get
Yes,
a
yes.
guest, to get some people that that we know or care about, or that we want to promote their situation, and also talk and make them uncomfortable as we were. And so that's
Yes,
always
100%.
that's
and and
I
we have some pretty funny friends.
so, I think maybe upcoming in the next little bit, especially around the holidays, where you can have some fun times and
Yeah.
see people. But also, we've got some really talented and really some people who have done some incredible things. And I say this in the most loving way, despite themselves, right? And
And
so
that's all of us.
that's all, and that's what I think. That's what the human condition is, which is you can be extraordinary despite anything that you've ever done. I don't care if it's 35 years ago or 5 minutes ago. So I'd love to do that, but man, listen, let's do another one before the holidays kick off, or just after, sometime
Oh,
between
yeah.
thanks Christmas. And um I appreciate you, as always. Keep it going, stay on the train, and we'll talk next
You too,
time.
man. Love you, buddy. See ya. Hey.
Nah, turn it off.
Is it there it goes.